Hello and welcome to this channel's second anniversary special. You join me in a rather grey Aberdeen, where we'll be taking a trip down to Dundee on one of ScotRail's HSTs, also known as Inter7cities, and hopefully the weather will improve when we get to Dundee. In this video I will be reviewing and showing you information on HSTs and showing you the facilities of Aberdeen station and the cost per tickets on this journey. There is multiple entrances to the station, one of them is from Union Square, but we're going to go in this entrance just outside of Union Square. Fun fact, Aberdeen station was opened in 1867 and it was rebuilt between 1913 and 1916. Turning right from the entrance I used takes you to the taxi rank and the station toilets. Supposedly you have to pay 50p to use the toilets here, however one of the gates was left open, so I guess that's not the case. There is lots of open space around this station, and there are a few shops as well, however not all of them are open, and I really like the roof as it lets in lots of natural light and it looks quite nice and old style. This station is also fully accessible as it has a lift to go to the upper level.
Doors opening. Doors closing.
This lift was installed in 2007 when this station underwent a major refurbishment, and it was installed by Cotswold.
Doors opening.
On the upper level is where the first class lounge is located, which requires you to have a first class ticket and you have to press an intercom in order to get in. I believe that this is ScotRail's only first class lounge. Also on this upper level, there is a bridge which links platform 7 and the station car park. There is also a similar lift to the one we just went in that goes down to platform 7. And there is 2 sets of stairs either side of the first class lounge for people who would prefer not to take the lift.
Doors opening. Doors closing. Concourse. Doors opening.
And lastly, there is a ticket office here. Our train is the 9:05 to Edinburgh, which we will be taking as far as Dundee. To get to the platforms you have to go through a ticket barrier. And here is our HST, which will be taking us down to Dundee. It is formed of 2 Class 43 power cars and 4 Mark III coaches. Fun fact, these are what the doors would have looked like originally. The other doors on this train had to be replaced due to safety regulations. And these are ex-GWR HSTs, and when they were with GWR they had slam doors. Here we are at the front power car. This is 43036 and 43135 is the rear power car. And now it's time to get on board this HST. I've decided to put myself in coach B. which contains the accessible toilet and the wheelchair space. I thought there wouldn't be any seat reservations on this train, but it turns out there were, so I'm free to sit in any available seat. And before we depart, let's do a seat tour. The seats are quite nice and comfortable, and they have a nice and comfortable headrest. The legroom provided is also very nice, and there's lots of room to stretch out. There is also armrests provided. The middle one moves, however the one on the window side does not move, and it's in a fixed position. There is also a tray table provided at every airline style seat, however it is quite small. You could only really fit a small laptop on if you're wanting to work, but there is a groove for drinks. There's also this grey thing, which is a card is inserted when the seat is reserved. There is also a 3-pin plug socket provided, however there is only one for 2 seats and there is no USB ports. And there is also a coat hook on the left side of the seat. There is also passenger information displays provided. I believe these were retrofitted when these trains were refurbished by ScotRail in 2017 and 2018. And we depart Aberdeen on time at 9:05.
The next stop is Stonehaven. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to a member of staff or text British Transport Police on 61016. Please daughter. See it, sausage.
We are now at the outskirts of Aberdeen and we are approaching the sea. The views from this point onwards are spectacular and mostly follows the sea. There are short periods on this route where we move a bit more inland. This is to pass through a town, village, or just a curve or bend in the railway line. After spending some more time travelling along the coast, we are now pulling into Stonehaven, which is our first intermediate stop. This is also where this train really started to get busy. We now depart Stonehaven about 3 minutes late.
The next stop is Montrose. Customers are reminded that M-tickets and smart cards must be validated before boarding the train.
Most of the journey between Stonehaven and Montrose is actually quite inland, so here is where we'll do a train tour and loo review. The train walkthrough and the accessible loo review was filmed on the return journey because the train got very busy at this point, and it was at this point that the accessible loo went out of order. The HST on the return journey was a 5-car HST, so there are 4 standard class coaches instead of 3. Standard class is laid out in a 2x2 configuration and features mostly airline style seating. There are a fair amount of tables though. First class is laid out in a 2x1 configuration and features mainly tables. On 5-car trains in the same car that contains first class, there is a little buffet. However, it is closed and instead a trolley service is provided. Here is the standard toilet. look around, the cleanliness looks okay, although there is room for improvement. I couldn't figure out how to get the soap out of the dispenser, so I'm not sure if it was actually stopped up. Either that or the button might have been broken, so I wasn't able to get any soap out. The tap works and dispenses water at a good speed. Paper towels have been provided to dry your hands as there's no hand dryer. Overall, I think this toilet is acceptable. There's nothing very good. And now let's have a look at an accessible toilet. This is on the return journey. The general cleanliness of this toilet was a bit better, but there's still room for improvement. The soap was stocked up. And the tap dispensed water at a good speed. And again, no hand dryer, just paper towels. But I prefer paper towels because hand dryers on trains are normally very slow. This toilet mostly meets my expectations, so from me it gets a thumbs up.
Door unlocked. Please press the door open button to exit, or door close button before engaging lock lever.
We are now approaching Montrose. Please mind the gap when leaving the train.
And now here we are arriving into Montrose. On the other side of the train you can get some really nice views from this station of the Montrose Basin part of the River South Esk.
The next stop is ScotRail. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to a member of staff or text British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, sorted.
Montrose we pass over the River South Esk. And now we're now travelling by the coast, but this is only for a short period on this leg between Montrose and Arbroath.
Somewhere in between. Well, there is actually
And now we are back inland and on the approach to Arbroath, which will be our final intermediate stop, as the next stop is Dundee after Arbroath.
Some people spend too much time.
And we now depart Arbroath, where we go fast to Dundee.
The next stop is Dundee. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to a member of staff or text British Transport Police on 61016. Please gossip. See it, gossip.
Most of this leg between Arbroath and Dundee is next to the North Sea and the River Tay. And we are now travelling along the North Sea again. I would have liked to put some peaceful music on, but I'm not sure what you as a viewer would like. So suggest to me some peaceful music that is copyright free in the comments. I'm not prepared to be paying a subscription to use the music though.
I think you saw your dad's car at McDonald's. They went to McDonald's and got someone when you're not there. Your dad's not there.
Jesus, looks like it's tilted.
Yeah.
So
Hear from
Where was it going? That way. What?
yeah, no,
So many days. Pass all the way. There's a footpath there. There's a footpath. A boat. Paddle boat.
We've now left the North Sea and we are running alongside the River Tay now, which means we are getting close to Dundee. We are now passing Dundee Port, which means our journey will soon come to an end.
You're going commando today.
Are we missing anything?
You've got pants.
And so
What that means.
That's what that means.
That's that building there.
interrogated it, going through section. Easy.
Please mind the gap when leaving the train.
And now, before we arrive into Dundee, I will now show you how much the journey cost for me. I bought an anytime return on the day, which cost me £39.80, not including railcard discount, as my railcard is not valid in Scotland. For a distance of 58 miles times 2, because I did the return journey, it equals 116 miles and therefore equates to 34 pence per mile, rounded to the nearest whole number. If you're just going one way, a single on the day anytime is £27.70, which for a distance of 58 miles one way equates to 48 pence per mile, rounded to the nearest whole number. If my rail card had have applied in Scotland, I would receive a third off, where a return would be £26.50 and a single would be £18.40. The return would be equivalent to 23 pence per mile and the single 32 pence per mile. And now, what did I think of this journey? I really enjoyed this journey. There was lots of spectacular views. I also really enjoyed these HSTs. They're around 50 years old and they're planned to be replaced by Class 222s within the next year. The seats were comfortable and there was lots of legroom. The only things which I can fault was the soap not being able to be used in the non-accessible loo and the lack of engine sound in the coaches. It's going to be sad waving goodbye to these trains, as these are the last HSTs left on the UK railways. If you're ever in Scotland soon, make sure to put a ride on one of these on your bucket list. And we arrive into Dundee 1 minute late at 10:13. Total journey time was 1 hour and 8 minutes. Before this video ends, I would like to ask you as a viewer a question. Did you like this video? What parts were good about it, and what parts do you think need some improvement? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I would also like to say a massive thank you to everyone. Whether you viewed one of my videos or subscribed to the channel, you have supported me in a big way, and I have received lots of that over this past year and over the past 2 years that this channel has existed. I would like to say a massive thank you to everyone.